All right, so we have yet another Moonswatch to unbox on this channel. This is the Mission to the Moonphase, which was just released this year. This is the Dark Snoopy edition. So I've already reviewed a few Moonswatches on this channel, and this one is for the most part the same, but there are a few differences. So let's go ahead and start by unboxing this watch. You can see that there's a few differences on the outside. It gives you some information on how Snoopy's related to the Speedmaster. And then there's one more difference. Yeah, so you can see the Snoopy lying on the moon, which will appear on the watch later on. So let's go ahead. Let's unbox this watch. Let's see what's going on here. For the most part, the unboxing experience is pretty similar to the other Moonswatches. You have, this kind of paper, plastic box, pretty simple. So you can see here, Mission to the Moonphase. Let's start by looking at that. So it kind of gives you a quick blurb on how Omega and Snoopy and the Speedmaster are all related. So it kind of gives you some background info into, why they decide to do this collaboration. So, that's kind of nice. Then we have other things that are pretty typical for a Moonswatch. You have the Moonswatch collection, just showing all the different watches. Interestingly, it doesn't talk about the Snoopies. This is the pamphlet that you get for, the generic Moonswatches. And then, warranty information. We have instructions that I don't want to pull out, but those are your typical instructions. Again, typical paper, plastic, but what's different and what we're going to focus on is this. All right, so this is it. This is the Omega Swatch Moonswatch, and for the most part, it looks pretty similar, right? It looks pretty similar to the other Moonswatches in the collection. You still have the same band, same case dimensions, same feel on the wrist. I'm actually gonna quickly pop this on my wrist just to show you, it looks pretty similar. It wears pretty similar as well. But in this video, I'm going to talk about what's different because, otherwise you can watch my other videos on the Moonswatches. Those parts are the same. So let's focus on what is different about this watch. So you might notice that the first thing that is different is at the 2 o'clock here, the subdial, it's not like what it is in the other Moonswatches, which I have right here. This one shows the sub-seconds or like milliseconds. So, if I activate the chronograph here and stop it, it's showing me 0.9 seconds over there. But this watch over here, the new Snoopy Moonswatch, it shows a moon phase. And to be honest with you, I actually don't really understand how to read this moon phase. I guess like when the Snoopy is hidden behind those black circles, that means it's like a new moon, but it's kind of hard to tell which part of the moon is if you have like a, waxing crescent, waning crescent. Kind of hard to tell, but honestly, it probably doesn't matter. I don't think anyone's going to use this watch for its intended purpose of, tracking the moon. It just looks really cool to see the Snoopy there. So that is a very big difference between this watch and the other Moonswatches, especially the other Moon watch, because, the Moonswatches, they have it for the planets as well as the moon, and the moon version also has a black dial, but I think the case is gray. So this one's completely black. You can also see in the back of the case, it's kind of like a cartoonish moon with a Snoopy paw print. That's another difference. But again, otherwise everything is pretty much the same. Now, something that you can't see about this watch is the movement. So it's also a quartz movement, but it's actually a little bit different. And how I'm going to show you that is, let me actually bring back this Moonswatch here. So let's go ahead and start timing. Start timing here as well, and let me stop both of them, and then let's reset it. So if you notice, this one like instantaneously goes back to 0. This one kind of does a slow sweep, so probably a different movement that we're working with here, which makes sense because this one has a moon phase function as well. So just a small different quirk. And if we pull out the movement here, it actually causes the chronograph hand to reset, which I find interesting. And I just want to show you that if you want to adjust the moon phase, you can actually do that with this pusher here. Now the instructions say if I push this once, I'm basically adjusting it 1 hour at a time. But you can imagine how long that would take, right? Like 24 hours in a day. So to adjust it by a day, you'd have to push it 24 times. So if you just press and hold it like this, give it a second, it's doing it by like 1 day at a time, 2 days, and then 5 days at a time. This is 5 days at a time, so you can adjust it much faster that way. So we'll just stop it over here, and then you can keep going, and then of course we pulled out the crown so we can adjust the time, just like that. But yeah, the hands, the adjusting the time, the chronograph feature, pretty similar to the original Moonswatches. Alright, so let's switch to a loom shot, and you can see that the loom is pretty weak overall, similar to the other Moonswatches. It's there, but it does fade after a few minutes. But the more interesting thing is when I shine a black light on the watch, and you can see that one, the black light charges the loom because it's UV light, but also it does reveal this hidden message on the Moonphase, which I think is really cool. I haven't heard of another watch that does this, and unfortunately you won't really see this message for the most part, unless you shine a UV light, which is quite rare, but it's still a very nice touch. Now for the final part of this video, I'm just going to show the Moonswatch on my wrist. And I still think this is a really nice looking watch. I know a lot of hate is directed towards the Moonswatches because Swatch keeps releasing new ones every year. We had the original planets in 2022, and then we had the Moonshine collection in 2023, and now we have these 2 Snoopy editions as well as the new Earth editions that just came out. So some people are getting fatigued by it, and honestly, I'm feeling pretty fatigued too. I didn't think I'd buy another Moonswatch, but I feel like this one is worth it because of that Moonphase complication with the Snoopy. Moonphases are, I would say, pretty rare. Not super rare, but you don't see them too often, and especially at this price point, you don't see them. And I usually see them in dress watches. And so if you're not looking for, a dress watch, then this one kind of fills that gap. It has a Moonphase, but it's also a sporty watch. So that's the reason why I bought it, and I think I'll keep this in my collection. Also, again, objectively, I think this looks really nice. Just, the black case, black dial, black strap, the whole black and white theme of this watch, I think works really well. It looks, very close to a real Omega Speedmaster, in my opinion. So, if you're looking for that nice Speedmaster look, this Mission to Uranus, it does look kind of cheap, right? Like this blue case, this blue, light blue and white, kind of looks a little bit childish. So, I mean, I like it. I'm criticizing it, but I also like it. But this black Moonswatch seems a lot more sleek, more professional, and has a special complication that, not a lot of watches have. So for those reasons, I honestly feel like it's worth it. Now, I don't think you should buy this watch above retail price, and I believe it retails around 380 Canadian dollars. So what is that, like around 300 US dollars? Don't buy it for above that price. If someone's trying to resell it to you for 100 or 200 above that, don't take it, because this is not a limited edition watch. They're not sold online, but they are sold in stores. No limited numbers. So if you don't see it at the store, or if it's sold out, just try again later, because eventually the supply will outstrip the demand, and then you'll be able to get your hands on one. So just wait for one that's available at retail price. And if you can find one at that price, then I think it is worth it. So on that note, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed seeing yet another Moonswatch on my channel, or maybe you're getting a little bit tired of it. But on that note, subscribe for more videos. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.